And 3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, Matt Geary for the Geek Pride cast on this Thursday evening. And I am joined by a proverbial horde, a murder, a herd, maybe? What would you call a group? A fuckload of geeks. Well, starting from left to right, we have John Joe Cosgrove. We have the Sean Wallace. We have Northern Ireland Dave Foy. And new guy to the podcast, Mark Kenty. Hello. Right. Okay, gents. I think we're all sorted live. I've got my chat window up there, so we can, if anybody wants to jump in and have a bit of banter with us. As always, on these yes, we. That's right. The last podcast we did, which messed up. We did one after our Dungeons and Dragons live podcast. Unfortunately for Sean, he was the target of a troll throughout it. Like literally a troll. I kind of hope he comes back, Sean. To be honest, I'm gonna say I kind of hope he comes back. I don't understand why he just had a thing against you, man. It just didn't seem. You know what, guys? We might have to start this again because I think I'm talking to myself. You know that? Yeah, I think I'm talking to myself. Well, it's. Yeah, yeah, but you can't hear yourselves because the desktop audio is not on, so it's not recording. So basically, people are just seeing me talking to myself. All right, so let's just mess this. Let's just change this. Yeah, we will start again. All right. All right, for everybody who's watching me live right now, this is yeah. Typical Matt Geary. He's got it on the default thing and not because I've added I got myself a mixing desk and it's fucked up my things. Let me do this. We want. I think it's that one. No, it's not that one. All right, okay. Everybody's just sitting there going, what's he doing? I can hear people in my ears, but the people out there can't hear anything. So Matt's just going, whoop, 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 whoop. I'm just hearing voices again. All right, okay. Let me check. It might be this one. Yay! Speak, somebody talk.
Hello.
Yes.
God, please help us.
We got it.
We're here. They can hear me now.
Yeah, everybody can hear you now. All right. So
Matt, the best thing was in the chat, which I'm watching it live. Your face froze, and it literally looked as though you were holding a shit for a week and you just let it go. It was this incredible expression. It was just like, oh my god, I've just shit my pants. It was amazing. I wish I'd taken a screenshot of it. Damn.
It's not frozen now, is it? Is it looking
No,
good?
you're chatting away.
All right, okay, all right. We're gonna start this again then. We're gonna start it again. All right, because it's not a podcast unless Matt fucks up at the start or halfway through, or Sean's internet dies or something along those lines,
or my cats attack the door.
Yeah, pretty much. Or yeah, we get so much abuse that we got to stop. But anyway, okay. So we'll start again. So I'll cut you in, press record, and then everybody who's watching this, it's like looking behind the curtain. Anyway, so 3, 2, 1, record, and 3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, Matt Geary for the Geek Pride cast on this Thursday evening, and I am joined by a proverbial horde, a murder, or a herd, or what's the collective name for a bunch of geeks?
I thought we were the cult of Covfefe.
The cult of Covfefe. Yes, that's us. But anyway, from left to right, we have John Joe Cosgrove.
Hello, good evening everyone.
The Sean Wallace.
Good evening.
Northern Ireland, David Foy.
Heyo.
And new guy to the podcast, Mark Canty.
Heyo.
What's up? All right, gentlemen. Hopefully that is now working now. We hopefully will have people actually listening to all of us. So somebody might want to check that shit on the Facebook just to make sure.
It's working. It's definitely working. I can say
Okay.
it.
Brill. Woohoo! All right.
God.
So, a Geary dozen. Oh, look, cheers. Cheers, Luke. Anyway, as always, if you want to join in on the podcast, ask us questions, just banter away to us. We'll give you a shout out. By all means, type in on Facebook. We're also on YouTube and on the Twitch. So banter away with us. Give Sean abuse.
Yeah, please give me abuse. By the way, Matt, it's not the Twitch, it's Twitch. Because if it's the Twitch, it sounds a bit awkward that way.
Yeah,
It's
but
like-
I like the Twitch.
Sounds like a villain. The Twitch.
yeah, like you fight the tick or something.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the Tick's mortal enemy. The Twitch.
the
Yeah.
Twitch. Were they making a film of the Tick
TV
film?
series.
TV series.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
in August that's coming out.
It's Peter Serafinowicz, isn't it?
Yeah,
Here.
it is. Yeah, it's like
Awesome.
basically one of the main reasons to get Amazon Prime, I think.
Hey, Sean, can you see me? Can you see the Facebook at the minute?
I'm
Yes.
not looking at it. I'm looking at you holding a gun.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, you can't see my awesome T-shirt then.
What is it?
Yay. It's my Emperor T-shirt. You know that mug I shared on Facebook?
Oh yes, yes,
I got the
absolutely.
T-shirt as well. Yeah, Emperor of Mankind.
So for the people who are listening, not this evening, what does your T-shirt say, Matt?
Ah, yes. Well, it says. Well, I've got to read down on it now because I can't remember it. It says, "No world shall be." What does that say? Reading upside down is not good. It's not a good thing for
Oh,
me.
for
Oh, actually, no.
God's
I can read it from here. Okay, I've got it here. Sorry. No world shall be beyond my rule. No enemy shall beyond my wrath. Yes. There we go. Okay.
Did you just read it off the mug?
No, I read it off the picture on Facebook. Yeah,
Oh dear.
I just pretty much got back from Hamburg for my friend's stag do. I'm still suffering. Like really, it was.
Have you dried out yet?
You cruel, cruel man. That's all I am saying.
Okay, so and loads of people here watching this maybe, and you don't know John. He's a good friend of mine, known for a long time, singer in my band. It was a stag do, and we all went to Hamburg, which Hamburg is effectively sex shops, strip bars, gun shops, and takeaway places. That's about it. Oh, and bars. That's it. It just sort of, that's all it is. Well, at least
Forget about all the classic German architecture and all of
Yeah,
the history
see-
behind it, and
you
the
know-
football team, and
Do you know
it's
what?
just- yeah.
Do you know what? Right? Okay. That was the Reaper band. But yeah, we did go into the center of Hamburg, and we went up to the big top of the tower of Saint Joseph, possibly. I can't remember the name of it, but and it was all the history about it being bombed in World War II. But anyway, yes. So we're in Hamburg for stag do, 4 days, pure drunkenness and
Debauchery.
yeah, it was tough, and somebody see the whole thing about. I kind of wish I had Gearston. I need to get Gearston online again because he was there. And what happened is, like, John, somebody rocked up with a double-ended dildo. just because, and we called it Dylan. It was called Dylan for the rest of the. It was called Dylan,
Okay.
and it went everywhere with us. I swear, I shit you not. This double-ended dildo. There's photographs of Ali, my housemate, walking. You know, like those people who are sort of leading groups and they hold things in the air. He was walking around with this double-ended dildo as our sort of marker, and it's surprisingly effective. That you'll notice a big fucking cock in the air when you're lost. You can just see Ali holding this big kit, and it was even better because it was a Harley Davidson weekend, and the Harley Davidson weekend there was like thousands of bikers. I'm like no shit you, there was thousands of the bastards everywhere. Like, just, you know that episode of South Park where it's like yeah, that was it, man. That was the whole, just the Harley Davidsons everywhere, people getting drunk, and Ali walking around with this massive cock. Just like, and people just, you could tell they were walking past and they'd have a look at this huge penis. It was hilarious, man, because we brought it everywhere. It was like we'd just be walking down the road and like Gearson would be sitting there and he'd see some lasses and he'd be like, "Way." And it was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, man. There's photographs of me with it in my hat, using it as a microphone. There's
one what you made the stag dress up as.
Yeah, so basically, right, so John had this idea, right? He was going to get away with this stag do, like, scot-free. Like, he was literally going, like, we're going to go and do nothing to him. And then the first night we bought him like this hat with a dick on it. We thought, you're going to wear that. And he thought, oh, I've got to wear this silly hat for a night. Oh, I've got away with it. And he was just deep down, he was kind of going, I've got away with this. But no. Because Ali had bought him basically kids lederhosen. John's quite a small guy, so we got him some kids lederhosen. Yellow kids.
He's Bruno, essentially.
Yeah,
Bruno.
basically Bruno. So we basically like got him a little crop top and stuff, and we cut that. And we were going to basically just make him dress up in it, and he was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to dress up in anything, you know. I'm not doing it. We literally had to abduct him. We, like, 4 of us grabbed him, dragged him into the elevator, dragged him upstairs, and then it took 8 of us. Now, John is 5 foot nothing, like, guy's small, but he's like a little spider monkey, and he's you know, for a small guy, he's quite strong. It took 8 of us to actually get his clothes off and get the lederhosen on. Like, it was a struggle, man. There's a video of it, and I'm like, literally, I'm about 16 and a half, 17 stone. Dave McCall's probably about 18 stone and stuff. That we were like lying on him, and he was still sort of kind of, you know, getting in, because he does Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff, and he was sitting there getting in this little ball. We're like, get him off, trying to get his thing. But yeah, we eventually got him into that lederhosen, and it was rather amusing.
The final picture is amazing. He looks like, I just want to paint a quick picture, because obviously he's a 5 foot nothing guy. Bless him. He looks like if you were like really down on your luck, quite poor, but you still wanted to book something for your children's party, and you decide to buy for a £5 a minion.
Yeah,
like from Despicable Me. He looked like the guy who would turn up for £5 and pretend he was a minion for a children's birthday party.
Thing is, he got away with a lot, because basically he didn't have to wear it for that long, because it started pissing with rain, and at that point it was quite cold. As soon as he took it off, it suddenly warmed up, so his little shit. So he didn't have to. But it was good that he did wear it for a bit, but we literally had to manhandle him into it. There was no sort of, okay, I'll just get along with it. So like Vidal, one of my other mates, towards the end, we basically got some gaffer tape, and we were going to gaffer tape Dylan to his hand. And at the end, Dave was annoying me so much, I just grabbed him, and then somebody else got the gaffer tape, and we started gaffer taping it to his hand, and he didn't put up a fight, because he just like, I'm done. Whereas John put up a fight. I was just like, there was a lot more exercise than I expected for a drunken weekend. But seriously, man, we've got like a group, and it's just everybody going, I feel so bad, I'm so wrecked, and stuff, so much booze. But yeah, it was a good time. Good time.
It seemed it. It did seem it.
Yeah, you missed out, Dave. You missed out.
I did miss out, yeah.
I'm just curious.
Tell me for being absolutely broke.
What was the watermelon all about?
Well, basically, I learned some German phrases before I went, and there's one which was "Meine Wassermelone ist kaputt," which is my watermelon is broken, and it's like, I'm totally going to use that. And then I was walking down the road, and lo and behold, I saw a broken watermelon on the ground, and I used that phrase, and I was like, totally knew I was going to need that phrase. So there you go, photograph of me and a broken watermelon. So yeah, there you go. That was my weekend, and it was yeah, Just a bit of a blur. Good fun. Never laughed so much in my entire life. Like there was a bit in it. Like there's a video. I can't put these things on Facebook and stuff. But like it's just like there's a video of me, and Russell and John, and we've got Dylan, and like John's trying to push it in Russell's face. And Russell obviously bigger than him, so he's just basically grabbing it and hitting him on the head with it. And like, quit hitting yourself, quit hitting yourself. And he's like, ah, and I just lose my shit. Like I'm so drunk, I just like going, ah, and I just literally bowled over, pissing myself. I could not. It was just, yeah, one of those times, man. Brilliant. Anyway,
so talking of things that are completely wrecked, what's going on with Venom and the Marvel Universe?
Yes, there we go. Nice segue there. Nice segue.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
God knows. Well, anyone who saw it about a week ago, they actually said that Venom and the Black and Silver, or Black Cat and Silver Sable, apparently they were going to be adjunct to the MCU. So Spider-Man would be, if he was in an MCU film, obviously he'd make reference to Iron Man and all them, but wouldn't mention Venom. And then it was going to be, if he was in Venom, then he wouldn't mention Iron Man and that. So it was going to be sort of like a gateway between the two. But who the fuck knows what's happening now? Because they've changed the story about 4 times in the last week.
They've probably changed it twice already since you heard about it as well.
I've read a pretty strong theory about this that I hope is true. And that is that they're wanting to introduce the idea of symbiotes during the Infinity War storyline, and that they don't want to spoil that, and so that's why they've been kind of up and down all over the place about Venom being in Marvel Universe or not. I will be honest, I quite like the idea of Tom Hardy being Venom, and I think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't really have a lot of interest in this film, because when they said, oh, this is going to be a spin-off standalone movie, I was kind of like, that's really bad, Sony. Did you not learn your lesson from The Amazing Spider-Man, how much you fucked that one up? Why can't you just learn and just think, the MCU is doing it perfectly well. You got new Spider-Man film that's getting really good reviews. Just let Venom be part of that world. Why is that so difficult?
Because the lawyers and the accountants get in the way.
Yeah, it's all the money, man.
Every time.
All the money.
Every time.
All the money.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's Sony. Well, Sony fucked up so much on Amazing Spider-Man that it's been a real kick in the balls that they've had to basically hand the rights back to Marvel to basically resurrect the series. And I think they're still, they've still obviously got the Venom film, and the Sinister Six film is another one they're still trying to get off the ground. And I think it's just they want to have some sort of control over the franchise, even if it is just on the spin-off films. And I think, on this, after the success of Deadpool and the R-rated superhero, they're thinking, right, what other, and Logan obviously, what other R-rated type superheroes can we pull out and make a hard-hitting R-rated film and try and at least recoup some of the money that they wasted on Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
I've got to say, though, I'm really looking forward to Carnage. If they can do Carnage right, Carnage is my favourite Spider-Man villain.
Oh, God,
They
I can still remember
do
buying
him
the
right.
original trade paperback.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they'd be brave enough to do the proper Carnage on screen, though. Because it wouldn't be R-rated, would it? It would be...
Isn't
you
he
need
like
to
a...
get
Isn't,
shrink first and afterwards?
isn't he
He's
like,
a serial killer.
a serial killer and a
Yeah, he's
rapist?
a serial killer.
Yeah, he is, yeah. And it's
Maximum
animal
Carnage.
murderer.
Yeah, Maximum Carnage is probably one of the most sort of celebrated, like, adult Marvel comics. It's incredible. And Carnage is just an absolute fucker. I mean, he is just, the worst superhero you can. He butchers people left, right, and center. You'll never, I don't think he'll ever go down that road, because they want to retain some sort of link to Spider-Man. And I think that, to be honest, they're talking about an R-rated version of Venom. It'll still be like a 15. They won't go the full gore route.
I don't know.
They should go full Logan on it, man.
Yeah, because of Logan. I wonder if Logan is actually going to change, is going to direct them there and say, actually, maybe we could make what would essentially be like a really strange serial killer film, but with a superhero bent, because that would actually be a completely new direction for superhero films.
I don't know if it retains a link to Spider-Man, especially to the current Spider-Man. I don't think so. I mean, I can understand X-Men even though the original Sony, the Fox films were quite family friendly, there was still an adult sense to that. Wolverine has always been quite a, even in the original films, you never really saw any blood, but he was still stabbing people with his claws. Whereas Spider-Man still has that connotation of it's a kid-friendly film, and I don't know if they are going to have, even if it is a distant link between Venom and Spider-Man, I can't see them going the full R route.
Well,
I could be wrong. I would love to see it. But,
yeah, the counter I'd say to that is potentially we're going to see a really strong Punisher series, and that is tangentially linked to the Marvel universe as well. So we just need to see how that works.
Then I think they could just do a Netflix series then, couldn't you, and just go full hog on it, and that would be pretty...
I'd love that.
That would be
I would love that.
The Punisher's already proven that as a character, people are willing to accept that he is that brutal. With something, the prison scene, for example, when he's fighting his way through the prison corridor because they let everyone out.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was kind of, at the time, that was like, okay, yeah, it's Netflix, but whoa. Because you've seen people get bounced off walls and ricocheted around and stuff by Daredevil, but actually seeing, putting people's thumbs out, putting thumbs in people's eyes and bits of chair leg and stuff like that. I think that's kind of, even before Logan, was the first time that you realised that maybe people were willing to accept some pretty gruesome stuff along the way there, because Deadpool still benefits from the humour, really, doesn't it? It's bizarre humour, but he doesn't really acknowledge it, does he? In the same way as the Punisher just says, well, this is what I do, deal with it.
Comment here says from Luke, isn't Tom Hardy earmarked for Wolverine?
No,
what?
no,
I don't think so. No, not anymore.
They kind of tried teasing it. They tried saying a few years ago, if someone was going to replace Hugh Jackman, it was going to be Tom Hardy, because Tom Hardy is a little bit short. I think he's about 5'6", so he would have been closer to the original Wolverine height. And basically, I will say it outright, I think Tom Hardy is one of the best actors in Hollywood at the moment. He's able to just go to all these different roles, and he puts himself in it so well. So that's why I have the confidence that he will do Venom well. But
he's in the new Dunkirk, isn't he? As an RAF.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the new Dunkirk.
I can't wait. Cannot wait for that film. It looks amazing. Cannot wait. I think. Do you know what my favorite Tom Hardy movie is? Warrior.
That is good.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah,
I like that one just because it's just the fight scenes in that are absolutely immense. It's just such a good sort of an MMA film, but it's not like those really cheesy American. I know it's an American film, but not those cheesy sort of like best of the best type ones. It's quite serious.
Well,
it's a good.
It is, man. It is.
It is.
Come on, it is.
It's all right. Yeah.
It's a good film. I really enjoyed it. I love the obviously the fight at the start when he kills that guy within a couple of seconds is awesome, but it's the whole sort of the brother fighting to save his house and you can say that your guy's like a special forces and he's trained. The brother just is just fights his way to the title and shit like no, it's basically Karate Kid only in like sort of it's the Karate Kid meets Best of the Best.
No,
he also does.
It is not. There's not a montage in it. Is there a montage in it?
Yeah. There's a couple under
there is a montage, isn't there? Oh
Don't
no!
You give up, man. It's your house, man.
Oh no! There is as well. There's a montage. Oh.
But he's
Crossbones is Miyagi.
One of the first films that I saw Tom Hardy in was the Bronson film, and I'll tell you
he's
what,
really good in that.
Shut it, you fucking C-bomb! Shut it! Can't drop the C-bomb just in case.
But that was one of his. I think that is still my favourite film that he's been in, because it was a very low budget film. It was very much just him, like basically putting himself in the mind of this disgusting person, probably one of the most dangerous people that's ever lived. And do you know what? I don't normally get it, but I actually had the chills watching him in that film, because it just felt like this person was so real. And just even like the fight scenes, like when he's just like smashing people, like just like bones breaking everything. It just I mean, I can watch horror films, I won't even blink once, but that film did make me like almost turn away. I was just like, oh, that's a little bit extreme, that's a bit strong.
It was awesome. The problem that I have with it, I think he's incredible in it. I mean, his transformation is just insane. You know, he ranks up alongside, you know, like Christian Bale and the Machinist in terms of like transforming themselves that they don't look like themselves. But the problem that I had was it's very close to Chopper.
Oh yes, Chopper. All right, Keith.
Eric-
Looks like you
Eric
said
Bana's-
yourself a mischief.
Yeah, Eric Bana's performance in that is just obviously phenomenal, and I think there's aspects of what Tom Hardy was doing in Bronson that was very close to Chopper. So I that's what kind of, you know, has always had, you know, people have always, oh, Bronson's incredible. To me his best film is Fury Road, and that's not just because the film itself is incredible. To me, it's everything that he does with that role that one makes you forget. You know, there was the worry of him taking over Mel Gibson and thinking, you know, I did not think of Mel Gibson when I watched that film. I thought, right, he is Max, but it's what he does with so little in that film. It's just the grunts and the looks and the motion as that he doesn't need words. It's just perfection, and the part of that film, incredible.
Do you know
I
what,
can't believe you don't think this is my best role.
Is that meant to be your Bane impression, Sean?
It's an amazing Bane.
I always love the bit at the start of the.
Your punishment must be more severe.
Yeah, that's a bit better. I can't do it. I can't do
That's
impressions.
just putting my hands over my mouth doing that one.
Yeah, it's basically what you do. It's only when Gotham is ashes.
Yeah.
They have my permission to die.
I always
grew up in the darkness.
Your body? Oh, it's your spirit? Or your body? No, that... Joe, what? I know a lot of people don't like The Dark Knight Rises, but he was the best part of that film. But it was a real shit way that they got rid of him in that movie.
Really?
Yep. It's a really shit movie.
That was great.
No, the movie's good.
No,
Shit.
Sean. No.
The movie's good, but it's just
Let's
how
not
they
get back into this. We buried this years ago, Matt.
No.
Too late.
Actually, what? I'm trying to think. When I was sort of like years ago, when I like one of the other Geek Pride casts, when we used to have loads of people and stuff, and we were talking about Superman, when Man of Steel when it came out, I'm pretty sure everybody was like telling me it was a shit film, and I was the only one defending it.
I
Yeah.
like Man of Steel.
Yeah,
I like Man of Steel.
yeah, but it's like I'm pretty sure you didn't like it, Sean.
I didn't like it that much. No, I thought it was a bit overwrought, and the character of oh God, what's the name of his dad? Park, like Kent.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, Kent.
Yeah, Kevin Costner Kent. Yes, Kevin Costner Kent.
I
His
thought you,
character was.
did you just say Hitler Kent? That's what I
Hitler
think you
Kent,
said.
yeah.
We'll just call him Steve.
Jonathan
Yes.
Kent.
Jonathan
Jonathan
Kent.
Kent. Yeah, that character was written so badly and so weirdly, and Superman accidentally kills a ton of people and all that stuff. It's just
Yeah,
I didn't really like that film.
Thing is, people moan about Man of Steel, but then you got to think about Batman v Superman. Save Martha.
Yeah, it makes much more sense in the Ultimate version. In fairness,
It does.
you
It
can
does.
see it makes so much more sense in the Ultimate version, and the way they edited it down to a normal film is the problem there. It's entirely the fault of the editors who decided to cut what was a 3-hour film down to like a 2.5-hour film, and taking out basically everything that made the film make sense.
Yeah.
I do like the Ultimate
But it was
Cut.
meant to be two films. It was meant to be two films initially. When they filmed it, they decided they were going to film two separate films back to back. The first film was going to be leading to Batman versus Superman, and then the second film was going to be the start of the Justice League and them forming to fight Doomsday, and it just that didn't. You know,
See-
it didn't pan out because they decided it was going to cost too much money, so they condensed it into one film. It was just stupidity on the part of Warner.
So weird, because Hollywood normally goes in the other direction, and
Yeah.
right, we'll stretch this out into as many films as possible. It's bizarre to hear they made the opposite decision.
Yeah.
So we don't want to waste any more money, so we're just going to throw all this money away instead.
It was the Avengers' fault. It's Warner Brothers and DC's. You know, they're just so their desperation to try and compete with the Avengers. So they were trying to expedite the Justice League, and it was just a matter of, right, we've got these two, what is meant to be two films, fuck it, slam them together, stick it out, and then we'll have the Justice League next. And I saw it in the cinema and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a bit sort of bland. I didn't like the end of it at all. It's fucking the Citizen Kane of comic book films compared to Suicide Squad. But you know, the thing about Man of Steel was I really, really enjoyed it, but it's always going to suffer compared to the Donner original. The Donner original is still one of the top 3, top 5 comic book films of all time, and it's never going to have that charm. And you know, that's the thing about Superman. Superman should not be the emo, emo woe betide me fucking dark Superman. He should always be cheerful Christopher Reeve, you know. It's a good film, but Jesus Christ, Henry Cavill needs to cheer up.
Oh, I like Henry Cavill's Superman.
He's just
I think he's a good
bland,
Superman.
and Brandon Routh was a better Superman.
He was not. No, he wasn't.
He was.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would say that unfortunately we're never going to see anything quite with the same charm as the original Donner films, because it's impossible these days. Too many people stick too many oars into everything that happens in Hollywood these days, because they're all so paranoid about money, and then they wonder why everything comes out looking the same.
I know, but it's just you know, I like the fact that it's annoying that sort of the Deadpool movie had to be a lower budget film just to prove a concept that they can do R-rated films and get away with it and stuff. Because now everybody's going, holy shit, that works, we can do that now. So they're all jumping on the bandwagon. And
but it works.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, Wonder Woman as well. It's like, oh, can't have a chick as a lead. That's bad business. And that came out and blew everything. It's gonna blow everything out of the water.
And now they've got to renegotiate all these contracts with all these people, including the leading lady and the director, to get the second one made. And they've got no leverage anymore, apart from, we want more money because look at what we made you. Because they had so little faith.
Well, Patty Jenkins has apparently in the last hour signed up for Wonder Woman 2, so that is very, very hopeful. I will say I actually did enjoy Wonder Woman quite a lot, and apart from the big fight at the end, which I think was a little bit generic, I loved that movie.
I love the fact that the last from Princess Bride is in it as well. I didn't realize that was her. I was like, holy shit, that's Princess Buttercup.
It's Claire.
Did you not hear about that?
It's Claire Underwood, man.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
Bad bitch.
Yeah. It's like, wow. Brilliant. Princess Bride. Love that film.
And she grew out to be a badass.
Yeah, she really did. She really did. On a random note, something I just watched before I came in here. Obviously, Black Mirror. I hadn't seen the one. What's the one? The computer game one.
I know what you're on about.
The one with Kurt Russell's son.
Playtest.
Is that Kurt Russell's son?
Yeah,
that's Kurt Russell's son. Yeah.
Ah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Playtest. That's it. I just watched it, and I actually came out. My heart kind of going because I was getting really nervous for him and stuff, and the whole thing was just so. You know, that was a good one. It was like it wasn't scary. There had horror elements, obviously, but it was just hard to watch sometimes and stuff. And you know, the way it was like, he's out of it now. No, he's not. He's still in it, and he's out of it again. And it was just, man, fucking hell. My heart was at the end was just going. But yeah, that was good. Charlie Brooker makes some good TV.
Have you seen the one where the guy gets blackmailed yet?
No, you know, I've seen
Shut
most
Up and Dance.
Yeah. Up and Dance, yeah.
I love that one.
I've seen most of them. I quite like the one where Tom Hardy's ex-girlfriend who played Agent Carter, can't remember her name.
Well.
Yeah, that's it. She her obviously lost her boyfriend, and then and then she uploads his Facebook and everything into this sort of like boil in the bag sort of, you know, robot thing that turns into him and stuff. And that was a good one. That was really good.
Be Right Back, that's what it's called, isn't it?
That's it, We Right Back. Yeah,
with Domhnall Gleeson.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Or General Hux.
General Hux. Yes.
So many of those episodes are absolutely amazing. I mean, have you seen San Junipero yet?
I love
Yeah,
it. So
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's probably my favourite one of that series because it's just so well done, but it has such like a sweet ending in a weird, twisted Black Mirror kind of way.
I love the Christmas special.
The Christmas special is great. Yeah.
So, but again, it's that sort of Brooker can't write anything without a really fucked up ending, which I love.
Yeah.
Everything has to have a completely fucked up, downbeat, harsh as fuck ending, and it's it just reminds me like it was gonna sort of there was discussion I had on like Twitter the other day, which was like what are your favorite downbeat ending films?
Ooh, interesting.
Can you think of any?
The Road is an awesome film, but it is the most depressing film I've ever seen in my life. I will never watch that film again. We did a thing, top 5 films
Yes.
that were, you'll never watch again, and The Road is definitely up there. It really good film. I haven't read the book, but I believe the book's worse in a good way.
The book's worse.
Yeah, and I came out of that, where you come out of a good film, and you've got that sort of like, that was a really good film, you're a bit buzzing, you're like, got the joy. I came out of that film feeling slightly tainted and just not being able to talk to people. We all sort of kind of left quiet and didn't want to say very much afterwards.
There was
it's a pretty obvious one, but Stephen King's The Mist.
That's exactly. I was just about to say that. Fuck the Darabont. Honestly, Frank Darabont. For the fact that that he stuck that ending in himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Than Stephen King's original book. It's just the most everything about it, the pacing, the shot of Thomas Jane, and the fact that they cut out his screams and just have the music, the really dark. Just it's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking.
I'm just going to mention one film that really affected me. You probably never heard of it. Have you ever heard of a film called The Scouting Book for Boys?
No.
No, it's quite an indie film. It stars Thomas Turgoose, the young kid from This Is England. Very good actor. And the film basically set on a caravan park. It's about these two teenagers, they're best friends, and one of them's been told that she's going to have to move away, and so she's apparently going to go, but the boys are very determined to keep her around. So they make this plan to obviously hide her away. They fake like a missing persons report to say that she's gone missing, and all these revelations come out, such as like she's pregnant from a guy that's 20 years older. There's all these reports and all this abuse going around. There's all these people right on their edges. The parents going crazy, but the young kid himself, he's obviously trying to look after his best friend, but he starts getting obsessed with her. He starts getting really like he wants to himself, and it gets quite brutal. From just looking after her, he actually keeps her trapped in a cave. He breaks her ankle so she can't escape.
Oh, it's kind of like Misery then.
Yeah. And it's the most upsetting ending because he realizes eventually that he can't keep this up. She's obviously got this busted ankle. She's about 3 months pregnant, and he finds her. He goes to get her from the cave. She's gone from the cave. He finds her on the beach, and she's just died. Like her leg is all gangrene. She's like just had it, and you see he's like he's swimming out to the water. And he literally just pulls her out, so she just drops to the ocean. It is one of the most heartbreaking, one of the most disgusting and upsetting scenes I've ever watched in a film. Yeah. And it was one of the movies that after I watched it, I just couldn't talk about it for about a week. I was just like, my God, I can't believe this was actually made as a film.
All right, just to stop here. Somebody's typing loads in the background. If you stop it, or I will stab you in the face with a pen through the screen. Whoever's typing.
Not me. It's not me.
Not me.
Anyway, stop typing if you're typing, because I can hear. All I'm hearing is tip 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 tip.
I don't know. I'm trying to struggle to remember the ending, but the most messed up film I've ever seen is called Dogtooth.
Dogtooth.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. It's a relatively indie. I want to say like Bulgarian or something like that film. And it's about this guy who basically keeps his kids locked away and just brainwash them to believe just the most weird and horrific things, and it's just such a. I can't really explain it too much without giving it all away, but it's essentially just about how if you raise someone without telling them, like away from society and without telling them everything, what they will be willing to believe.
So they'll turn into the DUP, basically.
Kind of, yeah. Basically, I remember the end now. The end is kids get told that if they lose their incisor teeth, then they'll be adults and they're able to leave the house. So the eldest daughter pulls out her own teeth and staggers bleeding and hides in the back of the guy's car, so when he goes to work, she can get out. And it just kind of ends with this kind of bloody boot as she's hidden in it, waiting to become an adult because she's pulled out her own teeth.
That's grim. That is super grim.
That's nasty.
I've got two. One I remember I wrote about in that article that you put together, but Martyrs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Has anyone seen Martyrs?
Nope.
No, right. It's a French horror film from maybe about 9 or 10 years ago. It's one of the harshest films. It's one of the French sort of the real sort of burst of aggressive, harsh French horror films like Irreversible and High Tension and the other one Inside, the one about the baby and stuff. But yeah, Martyrs is just the horrible ending. Basically, yeah, it's like a person being tortured in the most horrible way ever, and but it ends in a really sort of weirdly strange, downbeat but upbeat way, if that makes any sense. It's just a really fucked up film. And the other one is a Serbian film, and I'll leave it at that.
Of course,
mate. I haven't seen it. I've heard about it, and it's just like, what the fuck?
It makes a human centipede look like the Naked Gun. So yeah.
Mate, I just I heard sort of like the guy trying to explain what it was. It was like to symbolize the rape of the country and all this stuff. I was like, dude,
not.
It really isn't. That's just you're fucked up. That is just
yeah. I mean, he kill. It's like he kills a guy by fucking him in his empty eye socket. I mean it's hardly a fucking statement on society. Like, it's just a we are fucked up. We want to show the weirdest shit ever. So yeah. But it's an entertaining film in its own right.
Have you actually watched it?
Yeah, of course I have.
Oh, of course you have, Dave. Of course you have, Dave. Did you watch the? Because apparently there's versions of it. Because there's one.
Fine. It's just a
the edited.
Yeah, just a cigarette.
Okay, who's Sean talking to?
Sorry, there's a fire alarm in my building, but I'm just ignoring it because it basically fucking twat smokers stand in the communal areas in the stairs up and down where they're not supposed to and smoke, and every now and then one of them will fucking set off the fire alarm, so we just ignore the fire alarm.
It's not warm yet. We still got time.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. I heard it in the background and I was like, is somebody going to be okay? We're not going to have some hurt screaming in the background.
I mean,
it's just when it goes quiet, that's when you worry.
Yeah, it'll be a podcast exclusive to hear me die.
Yeah, well,
Oh, God. Anyway, sorry, a Serbian film?
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
There's meant to be two versions of it. There's one which is like, there's the edited version where they've cut out, and then there's the like all in, the bit with the baby and stuff like that. Yeah. And
it's the BBFC. It's the BBFC sort of, because to be honest, initially, if that film had come out in the 70s and 80s, then it would have been banned outright. You wouldn't get it anywhere in the UK. But the BBFC's relaxed a lot of its rules now, so it's very very rare that there will be any sort of cuts. That the BBFC will make any cuts to films now, unless it has. I think drugs is still one thing that they really crack down on. I mean, there still is so many seconds taken out of Pulp Fiction.
Really?
Can you imagine?
Really?
Yeah. Well, the bit obviously, where Vincent's shooting up heroin.
Yeah.
There's the whole bit of the preparation and the spoon and so on. There's like a couple of seconds of cuts from that, and it always has been. So drugs is something that they still do act on, but horror, it's very, very rare that they make any cuts, and a lot of the films that would have been classed as video nasties and banned back in the 80s, or sorry, the 70s, 80s, and 90s are fully on. You can get them fully uncut now. But Serbian film is one of the only films that does have a lot of cuts because of, the, I want to say pedophilia, but the whole sort of, the stuff that happens in it, should I say?
Yeah.
And there's, it's more because a lot of it is, it's not consensual.
Yeah.
Well, so there are still quite a lot there, but you can get an uncut version of it online, easy enough. To be honest, I've watched the original cut. I do love gore films and I do love exploitation films, but I've never really I've never really gotten around to watching the uncut version. I just have no interest, to be honest. I watched it once just to say I saw it, and that was it.
I think they should bring back the days where they sort of overdub stuff, like with like "Forget You, Buddy." Really, really bad with really bad sort of overdubs,
I still, yes.
Mother Plumper.
Yeah,
I still have a copy of Aliens that I recorded on video that I recorded when I was 10 off ITV one Christmas, and it's it's really badly dubbed where I say we nuke the whole psych from Warrior, or we gas the whole motherfucking nest and stuff, and it's all we gas the whole motherfudging nest and all that.
Or I remember years ago.
Get away from her, you bint!
When Shaun of the Dead came out, they done a similar thing because in the one of the scenes they replaced "fuck" with "funk." So it was what the funk are you doing? It's 4 in the funky morning, and it's just so funny because it looks so badly dubbed, but it was hilarious.
The best one ever, and it wasn't actually one that was done on UK TV, but it was an American edition. But I always remember seeing it in the DVD. It's there was a TV edited version of Scarface in America, and the bit at the start where he's in the prison or he's in the jail and they're interviewing him, and he's like, how did you get that scar? Eating pussy. And they've dubbed it over, so it's like, how did you get that scar? Eating pineapple?
Wow. Well, man, I'm not gonna say pineapple can be pretty spiky. Pineapple can be dangerous.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. I don't, bro. Do you know what? I have quite fond memories of watching films like RoboCop and stuff like that when I was growing up with forget me, and it's just like, wow, okay, right.
Die Hard was another one, and Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
I always remember those.
Oh yeah.
Some superly bad dubs, man.
Yeah.
Liam.
So, aware of time, shall we go to a couple of recommendations then before we sign off?
Yeah, go on then. What do we got? Anybody got anything to recommend?
Oh, I've got one. The Watchmen TV series. Have you heard about this being announced?
Yeah.
All right.
Right. I will say I actually really enjoyed the film. I thought
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people give it a lot of flack, but I think it's quite
You just liked
good.
it for the big floppy blue cock, didn't you? That's what it was.
Yeah, that was about half of it. But no, what I'm thinking is, because obviously HBO, I think they're quite good with what they adapt. I think it could be good, but I'm just thinking, will they be closer to the source material? So will they actually take the costumes from the original comic book? Will they probably take the original ending from the comic book and adapt that into the show? And also, because the book's only 12 comics, how much can you do with a TV show based on such limited material?
Well, the thing is, you could cover off a lot of the story of the prior heroes, and a lot of the stuff that's actually written out in the sections in between the comics in the main paperback. So that could be how you actually flesh it out.
True.
Yeah.
So there you are.
I don't care as long as the there's a big
blue
flappy,
fluffy cock.
Big blue cock.
big blue cock. Then I'm sold. Yeah,
Dylan.
I want to find it. I'm on.
It's HBO. It's going to be there.
Well, I don't understand is in the film, it's like he's there, he's naked, his cock's flying free. Then he's in Vietnam and he's covered up. You know, surely if you're trying to scare a bunch of sort of like you're going to try to scare your enemies, having a cock the size of a fucking tree trunk should be pretty fucking scary. In fact, they should have had it and had him blasting shit out of his cock. You know, just that's just who I am. You know, I can just do shit like that because I don't care, because I'm a god.
This is why you didn't direct Watchmen.
Just
Jesus,
3
can you
hours
imagine?
of
3 hours of just shooting lasers out of a big blue cock.
And he's got to have his hands on his sides like this, like in a Superman sort of pose, but he's sort of blasting him from his cock.
Now, every now and
Take
then he
this,
just
take that.
throws it up by using it like a lightsaber and just kind of clearing out vast swathes of
guys, I'm actually trying to. One second, I'm going to put a link on the chat. Right, this is me. What I've at the minute I've been obsessed with going on YouTube and finding there's a lot of sort of weird big blue penises. There's like I found this clip the other day. It was like someone has gone and has found someone has edited old Jean-Claude Van Damme films with the graphics of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
No way.
Right? They're amazing. But going through that, funnily enough, as you mentioned, Dr. Manhattan's penis, someone has actually made a video game where essentially it's like an 8-bit animated Dr. Manhattan running around killing people with a lightsaber-shaped penis.
No way!
I'm going to link it on now. If I can get it to work, I'm going to link it on now.
Oh, amazing.
Just as you mentioned that. He fights the Jolly Green Giant in it. And the Jolly Green Giant has a big green penis. So,
It makes sense.
Oh, God.
That's internally consistent.
yeah, exactly. Right, here we go.
All right. Well, he links it.
If we can get it linked. Anyway, while I'm posting this.
Well,
So Mark, any recommendations?
I don't know if it's been covered before, but anyone seen all the trailers for the Orville?
the what now?
What?
The Orville. It's Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, yeah,
yes, of course.
His
Star Trek ripoff.
It's kind of a homage, I think, more than anything
It's
else.
like-
Considering that
Yeah.
half the initial directors for the first season are Star Wars alums, apart from Jon Favreau, who's doing the actual premiere. They've got Robert Duncan McNeil, they've got Jonathan Frakes on board, various other
Yeah.
people that have done writing and stuff. And I must admit, I'm looking forward to it an awful lot more than Discovery at the moment, because it's kind of it's hitting that sweet spot that Galaxy Quest hit.
Right.
But it's kind of it's a bit more. How should we put this? There's a little bit more depth to it. It feels like it's running slightly more than one joke, which is Galaxy Quest's whole big thing. It seems has a good cast. There's some good excuses for marital strife and stuff in the middle. I don't know if any of you, if you haven't watched it yet, basically you have a guy who's always wanted to be a captain of a starship, and finally he gets his chance because they've run out of other people that they'd rather give a starship to.
Oh yes, we have.
And so they put
3,000
him in
starships.
charge. Yeah, we've got 3,000 starships, and quite frankly, you're what's left. So they put him in charge, and they give him as a first officer. Can you guess? His ex-wife.
Right, okay, we got this thing Dave's put online. It's about a minute and a half, and I'll press play. People who are listening to this and watching it live will be able to hear it. Obviously, you guys won't. But it's called Liquid Generation. Dr. Manhattan's penis inspires video game. It's by Hung. Okay, Liquid Generation. Liquid Generation. Let's give this a whirl.
So I'm guessing then this is your recommendation then, David?
Leaked game footage.
Yeah.
So, oh, wow. No way. People who are listening to this will be like, what the fuck? He's got a penis. He's got a raging hard on now, and the Jolly Green Giant's challenging him to the duel. And they're having a bit of banter now. Ho ho ho! Think again. Glow boner. Now the Green Giant is right. If you're listening to this on the podcast later, just Dr. Manhattan's penis inspires video games. Watch it. Oh, mate.
Oh god, this is scary.
Oh man, right, I'm gonna have to stop that there because people are just gonna be like, "What the fuck's he doing? He's just laughing to himself." But yeah, that was
So Matt, what's your recommendation then?
that game needs to happen. That needs to be a game.
Someone will make it and end up on Steam. It's going to happen.
You need that needs to happen. That game. I'm so childish. Oh man, brilliant. Right, anybody, any other recommendations then before we?
Sean, do you have one?
Yeah, I've got a quick one. It's an anime that's just kind of hit, I guess, the mainstream, and I only kind of became aware of it in the last kind of few weeks. It's called My Hero Academia. It's quite a kind of a relatively standard sort of Shonen Jump anime, but it's quite an interesting take on it. Basically, it's in a world where everyone has a superpower. There's about the one person who basically doesn't have a superpower, and he makes friends with the greatest hero of all time. And it follows him as he tries to become a hero without any powers. And it's really interesting. It's a really well done anime, so I recommend it. My Hero Academia.
Cool. Give that a whirl.
Give that a whirl.
Give that a whirl. Give that a whirl. So anybody else want to talk about anything before we go? Because it's not actually an hour we've been on here because we were.
I was going to say, yeah.
We've faffing around at the start with Matt, mess things up again. So is anybody else anything else they want to talk about?
Yeah, I was going to recommend. I don't know if I maybe mentioned it. Obviously, coming from my speciality of shit horror films. I don't know if I've recommended before, but there's a film that came out quite recently, maybe a couple of months ago. It's finally released on Blu-ray, DVD, and I think it's on Netflix maybe now. It's called The Void.
Rings a bell.
It's essentially two guys who were. It's a new horror film that's just come out recently. It was. Oh, have you guys rung off?
No, we've got Sean Wallace. Of course, Sean has left. Of course, when Sean's on a podcast, he's just basically
the fire finally got to him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that could be it. We're sitting there laughing at him, and he's slowly burning to death as we speak. You bastards!
Yeah, it's essentially it's a sort of recent horror film that's come out. It's very, very much influenced by sort of classic 80s, sort of Carpenter, Lucio Fulci style horror movies, but supernatural, aspects and plenty of gore. It's two guys who are known in Hollywood as, special effects gore artists who have just decided to get together and make their own sort of independent feature. Pretty cheap, but really, really well done. It's a proper homage, as I said, to those sort of real, fantastic gore movies of the 1980s. I absolutely loved it. It's it's just a simple premise. People dropped in a hospital with weird creatures, trying to get at them. It's very much, like The Thing meets The Beyond. Absolutely loved it. I would recommend it to anyone who loves that sort of style of shit but good horror films and just wants to see something a bit different. It's called The Void.
Okay.
And as I said, it's out in Blu-ray now, and I think it's going up on Netflix. So that's my recommendation.
Were you at the Belfast Comic-Con recently?
I was indeed. I was at the Q-Con, which happened 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
The Queen's Con, and I was at the Film and Comic-Con this weekend, which was pretty good. I always sort of I like the MCM ones because they always seem to attract a sort of higher class of guests. But the one problem that I have with the Belfast, it isn't even Belfast anymore. It's Northern Ireland because they've moved it out of Belfast. It's in essentially the arsehole of nowhere out towards Lisburn.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Maze where the Maze prison was.
Really?
They've built this. It's like a former prison for paramilitaries in Northern Ireland, and they've converted it now into this big conference center. And it's a really good venue, but it's just out in the arsehole of nowhere. It's just
Wow.
But the venue itself's really well done. The layout for the con, was pretty decent. The level of guests were good. The main sort of star was Sam Jones, Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. We've done an interview with him. If you check it out, we get on our YouTube. I interviewed him. He phoned me. I've got his ringtone. I've got Sam Jones's phone number with a Flash Gordon picture and the Flash Gordon sound whenever he rings. That's what's.
he was hilarious, really really funny. But you had like Summer Glau was there, which was probably pretty crazy. And who else? Like a couple of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original Rangers.
Oh, okay, cool.
But for me, the only people I really was interested in meeting, you had Nolan North and Troy Baker.
Oh, okay,
there.
right.
Sorry, Troy Baker. So you had obviously Nolan North, Nathan Drake, and Troy Baker, Joel from The Last of Us. So that was very very good. Who else was there? And then just a really well. It's good to see that there is a decently put together con in Northern Ireland now. I'm actually going down, hopefully, to the Dublin one this weekend.
Right. Okay. Did you get the email? Did you get the email I sent you?
Yes,
by the way?
I did. But yeah, it's pretty good. And then we're off to the London Film and Comic Con at the end of the month. So
hammering them, man. I haven't been to that many this year. I used to go to loads, and I just haven't got time to go.
Come down to London one, man. Come down to London.
In October, is it?
No, it's at the end of July. End of July.
Oh right. No, because that's at the same time as the Manchester one, I think. The LFCC and MCM Manchester coincide, sort of kind of roughly around the same time. Plus, it's at the same time as San Diego Comic Con, and I'm getting all the updates and my press, all the stuff for the press, because I was there last year, and I'm getting all the press stuff through, and it's like, do you interview such and such a person, or do you want to do this? And I can't. I'm not going. So I'm very upset right now. I've got a Facebook group for all the San Diego Comic Con parties and stuff, and that's going mad at the minute. And I'm like, you fuckers, you bastards.
So you're having a San Diego Comic Con hangover then? Yeah,
it's just a withdrawal symptoms, my man. You literally go to that Comic Con and you're like, I don't want to go to any other Comic Con ever again. I was warned this, and I was like, yeah, I'll be alright. But no, seriously, just amazing, absolutely amazing. Cannot sort of just. It's huge, massive, just the whole thing, the whole experience. I've talked about this, I've pontificated about this, I have extolled its virtues many, many, many times, but you have to go. If you've never had the chance to go, just do it. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Can I do an anti-recommendation?
Oh, go on then.
I wasted about 2.5 hours of my life on Sunday evening on my Limitless card watching the latest Transformers film. Can I just say... Wait for it on TV. All it cost me was 2.5 hours and the petrol to get there. My other half, who's totally not a geek, said that could have been like an hour and a half shorter and not even lost anything apart from lots of explosions. And there was 3 scripts all trying to argue with each other at the same time. And even the guys on the screen didn't seem to know which version they were reading from half the time.
Sounds like it sounds like a review, Mark. Sounds like a review.
It has a 3-headed robot dragon and still manages to be boring.
How do you do that? I just don't believe the Transformers actually have a script. I just think it's just Michael Bay and a load of people going, should we put some robots here? Yeah, that's fine. Should we put some explosions here? That's fine. Should we put a woman who's just about barely legal, half naked in there? Yeah, do that. Fuck it. Let's just throw everything.
No, sorry, half-naked woman this time.
I just got a. I don't know if we will see that. We will see it from my thing. Oh, that's a bit. I got a message from Sean. It says, "Sorry, Matt, internet died." So Sean's okay. He's not being consumed by the flames. It's just standard Sean Wallace, the internet dying.
I'm glad he's okay though.
Yeah, we're glad you're okay, Sean. We're glad you're not dead.
He's alive.
But yeah, I just think with the Transformers film, first one was brilliant, and then they just went, "Hey, we can just blow shit up."
But
and
was it, Matt?
I thought it was alright.
But was it?
I quite liked it, and it was for something for basically you didn't have a live action Transformers film, and the last Transformers film was the cartoon. It was good it wasn't good in a good film way. It was good because it was Transformers. And then they've just played in that whole, let's just keep on milking this cow. And it just got shit really quickly. The last one I saw what's the one where he just sort of decides to blast? Is that the last one where he blasts off into space at the end?
Yeah, because that's how it joins into the new one.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
him floating through space magically, covered in ice, and he finds Cybertron.
Right, okay. Is it got, has the new one got Unicron in it?
It kind of hints at Unicron, but I think somehow they've decided to hang on to what Unicron is for the next one, which won't be Michael Bay.
Right, okay.
But what I find about Transformers is, since the first film, they've just gotten worse and worse and worse. But they get some really good actors in it. I mean, they add Sir Anthony Hopkins in this one.
Oh, he's the only one who makes it watchable. He's totally hamming it up all the way through. He's the only one who seems to be actually have a clue what's going on, and he's taking the piss out of it all the way through.
Yeah,
but then
Anthony Hopkins has a habit of being in some amazing films and then being in some shit ones. He has sort of like these. I don't think he cares really. You know, he just if he likes the idea of doing something random, either that or he just likes lots of money.
He likes the money. That's what it
I
is.
can imagine he just sits at his home and it's like, so Anthony, we've got this film for you. I'm not interested. Here's £5 million. When do I start?
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Man.
think he just likes to have these stories for people to pop up in the middle of interviews. So it's not, oh, this was awesome, that was awesome. It's like, why did you do that? Oh, it just seemed like a good idea at the time. And, you know, this stupid thing happens. And that idiot American that was directing it did stupid things as well. And they paid me loads of money. So
I mean, in the first three films, you had John Turturro, who I think is a brilliant actor, and they basically made him look like a fucking idiot for them films. Then number 4, you had Stanley Tucci, who I absolutely think is a great comedy actor. He's very dramatic as well, and he just looked like an absolute fool. What they do is they're taking all these actors who are very well acclaimed, and they make them look like idiots.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's just the money thing, isn't it, really? It is just, here's a shit ton of money, and you go, all right, whatevs, you know. I don't care. Yeah. I think, you know, with people like Anthony Hopkins and stuff, he's just like, I can be in whatever movie I want, and people are just going to pay me and stuff. And it's just like, I've got a bit downtime. I've got to put an extension on my house. I'll just do this film, you know.
Actually, you say that about Stanley Tucci. I just remembered, because obviously he's in the last night. He plays Merlin in this, yeah? And it's actually quite funny, because he plays Merlin as this old drunkard waster who's desperate just this once, having been calling himself a magician forever, to find a way to pull it off, because he realizes that suddenly everything rides on him. And you have him wandering up. It was one last swig before he goes up to ask the 30-foot-tall robot to save his country. And he goes back for another swig. And he's like, I know I'm a bit crap, and I know that no one takes me seriously, but just this once, please? All right, here's the fate of the universe in a staff. Just hold on to this and go for it. Seriously, go for it. Okay.
So they are basically new Transformers film, as shit as it all has everybody's been saying it was. Basically,
but it's always going to make money because it has that sort of connotation behind it. It's, you know, I think it's the same as the, you know, if you look at other, like the Resident Evil films, they're so bad. They get progressively worse and worse and worse, or the series has got progressively worse, but they still make money.
And they're rebooting it as well.
It's like the Fast and Furious ones as well. There's like there's like about a bazillion of them.
What was the other? What was the other one?
I find the Fast and Furious one's fun because they just totally stop giving a shit anymore.
Yeah, they just go. It's the basic. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for them to jump the shark totally and go like Fast and Furious in space. You know, it is going to get to that stage. You know,
Jason versus Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it's going to be Transformers versus Fast and Furious in space. It's just going to happen. Honestly,
Joe, what shit is that be? I would watch that.
So someone did a mock-up motion poster for Fast and the Furious 20, We're Still Going. And it had Vin Diesel with a walking frame coming off the back of a pickup truck and being lowered down so he'd go across and then just like grinning and winking at the screen and going off screen.
Sure, they're talking about... There was actual talk about trying to bring Paul... what's his face?
Paul Daniels. Paul Daniels.
Paul Daniels. Yeah. Like it, not a lot. But yeah, we're in for Debbie McGee to come in. No, but they were talking about bringing Paul Walker back. It's like he's fucking dead. They're going to bring his character. They've already killed him off.
I think that might have been the money people more than anything else. Because we got away with it for like the last 15, 20 minutes of the film and a little bit of it. Well, we can pull it off, right?
We've got a comment from Chris Mould who says, "I've always enjoyed the Resi films. Fast and Furious has gone downhill since Too Furious. I have only seen like 2 Fast and Furious films, and that was like number 7. I saw like a little bit of number 1, and I saw one where there was a guy in Japan."
Tokyo Drift.
The Tokyo Drift one.
Yeah, that
was it.
So bad.
Yeah.
The weird one
bad.
that came part of it later on. It is probably one of about the worst one they did, all things considered. But it has very little connection to it anyway. I still think that number 5 is probably the best of them so far, just because it really just stopped giving a shit. And
because of The Rock.
Well, that too, but also the whole thing with the safe. Because that was the point where you just knew they had stopped pretending it was a movie about the cars, and it was actually a movie about doing really stupid shit for lots of money and entertaining people with fast cars.
Thing is, like, The Rock's like making pure till at the minute, man, because he's obviously he's in the Baywatch film. He's just done. He's in the Jumanji film. He's obviously the Fast and Furious films. He does a lot of stuff with Chris Hart these days. Now, he's like,
and he's still threatening that he's going to do Big Trouble in Little China, which is just going to be a fucking travesty if he does.
Oh,
and
man.
apparently he's going to be Black Adam as well in the DC extended universe.
Oh, apparently so, yeah.
But the thing is, he might be good. But why are you focusing so much on Black Adam before you even get Shazam?
Yeah, well, I quite like Dwayne The Rock. I think he's quite good in a sort of harmless sort of way. I find him quite amusing, and I actually don't mind him in films and stuff. Like that film, what is it? The CIA, is it? I think, or him and
Spy.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, the one where he's a CIA. He's a fat kid, and it's got Chris Hart. Yeah.
That's quite good. With Kevin Hart, was it Kevin Hart?
Yeah, Kevin Hart. That's it. Sorry, yeah, Kevin Hart. Yeah, I find it mildly amusing, but I'm easily amused. So there you go. But
that's one of those things where he plays to type, doesn't he? He's got this type which is he's actually taking the piss a little bit out of himself, but he's going with it because it's fun and because he can get away with it. He's just having a laugh, and they're paying money. But I'm just having a look here, and I hadn't noticed that on his IMDb profile. Apparently, he's announced he's going to be doing Doc Savage as well.
Oh, God.
And that's going back a bit.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I do like The Rock, and if you've seen Baywatch, he's actually one of the only people that I do enjoy in that film because he actually makes it fun. And but apart from that,
the little
yeah, that was so good. Like just with the little binoculars as well. It was like.
And then when he swatches him out, it's you can't take it seriously. But if you watched it originally, and it just totally takes the mickey out of itself at the same time.
When it brings in David Hasselhoff as well, it is so funny.
No way, it's Hasselhoff in it.
And CJ at the end, Pamela Anderson.
CJ, actually moving in slow motion as well throughout the whole scene.
Are you seeing this? Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, you've got to watch it just for how much it takes the piss out of itself.
What's the thing is, I like the fact that Hasselhoff has embraced his cheesiness. He's like, he probably thought he was a serious actor once, and then now he's just like, fuck it.
If you watch it, watch it, catch the credits. There's a sort of pre-credit scene with him and The Rock, and you have to watch that to totally embrace that he is totally taking the mickey out of himself.
Right. Okay.
When it gets to the end, just stick around for another 2 or 3 minutes.
Do you think, just on a random note and before we go, do you think sort of post-credit things are now becoming more of a thing? Should they have them, or should they...
Well, I think, because most people I know will now sit for a whole film and its credits just to see if anything does come up. And not all the time, but there is sometimes now, if you don't watch a post-credit scene, you might not understand what's going to be coming in the next film.
Well, I like them and stuff. Like, I always check my phone to see if there's a post-credit scene and stuff. There's nothing more annoying than sitting through credits and then there being nothing, especially when it got a girlfriend like mine. Yeah, well, I checked that shit before I did, and I was like, I'm gonna make sure, because I was like, there's no way my missus is gonna sit here through this and then I go through the credits and there nothing be there. And she's like, why the hell are we sitting here? I'm like, because there might be a post-credit scene.
At least you get that. My girlfriend won't even watch a superhero movie. She thinks they are utter shit. And when we watched Rogue One, throughout the whole film, every 10 or 15 minutes, she kept saying to me how bad it was, how much she didn't like it. And at the end of the movie, she actually gave me a whole opinion of the film for about a good 10 minutes. Everyone's walking past thinking, my God, what is wrong with her? And it's just like, she just hated it. She told me every little thing that she didn't like. Everything she said was wrong. Why it didn't work. Why it didn't feel like Star Wars to her. And then she finished the conversation by saying, you better not take me to the film next year. I went, don't worry, I ain't fucking taking you today.
John Joe, I'm afraid me and your missus never meet because literally, like, that's my favorite film, my favorite Star Wars film.
Started.
And if she hated it, we are juxtaposed. We are literally the antithesis of each other. We are completely like black and white, hot and cold. Yeah,
Get messy then.
Cannot sort of emphasize how much I loved that film. And,
I mean, I enjoyed Rogue One. I will be honest. I quite liked it. It was better than I thought it was going to be. But for me, I know a lot of people prefer Rogue One over Force Awakens, but I still like Force Awakens more.
No, I loved Force Awakens. Don't get me wrong, but it was just a rehash of New Hope, really, wasn't it? It was just. At least Rogue One was its own film. It was sort of an old school war film, and that's what I liked about it. It was like, it felt like an old school war film, and I liked that sort of like thing.
It just felt more complete to me as a film. It felt like it was put together better.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't really sort of looking back. I mean, I managed to get my other half to watch that, but only by one way. And that was because it was my birthday, and therefore she had no choice but to give me the choice what we were going to go and watch at the cinema. Because we were away in Cardiff for the weekend with my best mate and his other half as well. And it was my second time of seeing it. It was his other half's third, and it was his fifth, because he'd had to go and see it with his brother. He'd been and see it with Helen, his other half. He'd been and see it with his kids. And then he'd just been and seen it himself for the fun of it, because it was cheapy. And then we went and saw it with us.
Yeah.
I mean, my other half's pretty straightforward about things. If it's Star Wars or it's Star Trek, she's just not interested. She usually won't go and see it. And I'm like, I can live with that because, it's your choice. But it was just, oh, okay, I suppose I will. It wasn't that bad. I'm still not watching the other one,
though. Brilliant. Okay, we should probably end it there then. Unless anybody's got anything urgent they want to discuss before we leave, I will sign us off.
Oh, no? Just one very, very quick one. There's the new Saw film coming out, and they've recently renamed it Jigsaw. And I liked the Saw films when they first started, and they just progressively got a little bit more unbelievable, a little bit more tacky. And now they're bringing out a whole new Saw film, which is still connected to the original series. And I don't know how to feel about this film yet.
Interesting. I'm sure Dave will have some opinions on that at some point in time, if he's still around. Oh, he is.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
I thought you buggered off.
We'll leave it for another day.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you could go on about that for a while. We'll talk about that in our next one. Yeah. Okay, we need a hashtag for this one. What's our hashtag going to be?
Sean survives, or
Sean survives. Sean lives.
Sean's alive.
Sean lives.
Sean returns.
Sean lives. Okay. Okay. So thanks everybody for watching. If you're listening online, then obviously thank you for listening. By all means, please subscribe. Please check us out on the different social media things we have. Give us a like, give us a share. Please sort of download it on iTunes and Google Play, and it's on the website. Everything, all the places. We are everywhere now. We're everywhere. And I will sign off for now. So I have been Matt Geary. He has been John Joe Cosgrave.
Thank you.
He has been David Foy.
See you later.
And he has been Mark Canty.
Nice seeing you all.
See you later, everybody. Thank you very much.